I decided to do Proposition 18, California Proposition 18, this time, which is it should be kind of short because it's what it's doing is allowing people who are 17 years of age to vote as long as by the next general election they will be 18. So they'll be able to vote in primaries and special elections preceding the general election in which they are 18.
So if they're 17 and they turn 18 November 2nd, then they would be allowed to vote in the primaries leading up to that election, correct?
Well, I don't think it would. I mean, it obviously wouldn't count for this time around.
Well, yeah, okay. So
but
next
yes.
year, whenever the
when
Tuesday is.
Exactly, yeah.
Even if they were born on the Monday prior.
At 4 a.m.
the actual,
because the law already says that they can register, right? If they're going to turn 18.
yeah,
They can pre-register.
So
Yeah.
They pre-register.
They could absolutely pre-register and they can currently vote in that general election because they would be 18.
Yeah.
But what they wouldn't be able to do is vote in the primary that feeds into that general election or any special elections that are preceding that, which this law or this measure looks to alleviate. Oh, are you guys there?
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, he went. I was gonna say radio silent, but that's not accurate.
No.
Camera silent.
He's probably just counting marbles.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Hopefully washing them.
yeah, probably.
Well, then I want to find out how many fit in my mouth afterwards.
Oh God.
Okay. So
Oh God.
that's a visual. All right. We should talk about my bias. My bias is well,
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah. Go ahead.
So when you say the special elections or the primary that feeds into that general election,
Mhm.
What is there a particular time period? Like,
Yeah.
'cause special elections can happen anytime.
So they
Sorry.
at least the way I read it is so when they are 17, so for that whole year when they are 17, if they will be 18 by the time of the general election, they can vote effectively anytime when they're 17 there. So it could go back a year, but I mean, in all likelihood, that's not, it's not very likely to happen. So pretty much it's mostly to focus on the primaries. Yeah, so my bias here is I am generally for this sort of thing. So allowing anybody to vote. So I like to see things as open as possible. So that's,
you want anybody to vote?
yeah, I mean, we can have a reasonable discussion about where that line is, but generally I'm on the side of erring towards allowing more people to vote as a general rule, right? Okay.
I'm on the same side.
Never
Yeah.
get elected.
What's
You
that?
gotta stop people. If you did that, then Republicans would never get elected. You got to stop people from voting.
That's a pretty
You didn't know
reasonable
that?
reason. Yeah, it's a pretty good reason not to let people vote is because you're going to lose.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every time they talk about why they have to, jump through these complicated hoops to, make it harder to vote,
Uh-huh.
and then they get caught on tape saying it's because if you didn't make it hard for people to vote, then they'd never win an election.
Yeah. Well,
It's like if the will of the people is served, we'd never get anywhere.
That's right.
That seems to be a pretty common occurrence right now for the Republicans. I mean, look at what just happened in Texas. So suddenly the governor decides that every county can only have one location for you to turn in your absentee ballot.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely
It's
just
pretty blatant.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so getting back onto that's okay.
Sorry to sidetrack you.
Prop 18. So it's actually the language of what it's doing is very small. It's amending the California Constitution, making really kind of a small adjustment. It's effectively adding a little bit to the language that says who's allowed to vote in the state. It adds a who is at least 18 years of age and a resident in the state is what it adds, and then B, it completely adds this sentence: a United States citizen who is 17 years of age is a resident in the state and will be at least 18 years of age at the time of the next general election, may vote in any primary or special election that occurs before the next general election in which the citizen will be eligible to vote if at least 18 years of age. It's a little circular there, but whatever. It's pretty straightforward.
There's definitely worse written laws.
And it's pretty widely supported, obviously. I mean, your typical support. It was interesting to read the opposition because I found the opposition to be kind of fairly weak sauce. And here, I'll just read you one here that I found particularly telling. This is from the Election Integrity Project. 17-year-olds are legal minors. Under that definition, they are still considered children. They are almost all still living at home and under the strong influence of their parents. This is not
30-year-olds. Sorry.
We'll deconstruct this argument here as soon as I'm done.
Sorry,
yeah.
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
This is not conducive to independent thought and voting without undue
Sorry.
and voting without undue pressure from their immediate superiors. 17-year-olds will almost always still be in high school and under the strong influence of their teachers. This again makes it likely that they would be expressing their own independently thought out choices. Were they allowed to be vote? Were they to be allowed to vote? Wow. So yeah, what do you think of that argument? Isn't that pretty weak?
Yeah, I just noticed in their in the voter guide too, their argument talks about, well, they're still in high school and they're dependent on teachers for grades and important recommendation letters vital to their future. They are a captive audience 5 days a week,
right?
With a strong incentive to do whatever teachers and counselors recommend.
And all of that changes exactly on their 18th birthday.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Absolutely.
That's so weak sauce, man.
Well, I was gonna say too. I mean, the comment about living at home. I mean, if you look at some trends. I mean, children are living at home much longer than 18.
Sure. Yeah.
So now is it going to be like, well, if you live with your parents, you can't vote? I'm sorry.
Well, and what about all
you're obviously not old. You're not ready to vote.
That's right. Well, what about all the parents who pay for their kids to go to college? It's like you Johnny, you better vote a Republican or I'm not going to pay for your college next year.
I mean, why don't they just put a law that says only half of Democrats get to vote? I mean, that's what they're going for, right?
That's right.
I mean, fuck it.
So
let's just throw it out there. Let's see what happens.
I think this is a pretty common sense kind of thing. I think there's functionally no difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. 17-year-old has had sufficient civic training, hopefully in school, to.
You know that they haven't.
Okay, yeah, I know that's sad.
But let's be realistic. Neither has the 18 or the 30 or the 60-year-old.
That's fair.
Or the 74-year-old sitting in the Oval Office.
That's right.
In the presidential suite at Walter Reed. Right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I'm gonna say I'm definitely voting yes on this, and I just can't find any stronger argument against it than that. And like I said, I find that particularly weak. It is telling that that there is something like $333,000, almost $334,000 that went in contribution to support this ballot measure, and exactly $0 against it. So they're saying these things, but they're not apparently putting their money where their opposition is. So they're probably not opposing it all that strongly either. But so
I bet you at least one of them like banged their fist on the table.
those youths, God,
they have no real world experience. These 17-year-olds.
these are the same people.
They've not had to work to support themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe after they work for 2 or 3 weeks, then they're ready.
Right. These are the same people that put baby in the corner. That's all I'm saying. You don't put baby in the corner.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
All right.
So
that's what I got.
18 is such an arbitrary number anyway, right? I mean,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
it? I mean, I graduated high school when I was 17, started college when I was 17.